your darling program. Welcome to APNTV Newspaper Review. Here with me, I have the Punch newspaper and I have the Nation newspaper. Firstly, we are going to feature into the Punch newspaper for today. Yoruba leaders push for Makinde Adeleke intervention in Alaafin Oni conflict. The Yoruba leaders of thoughts has appealed to the Oni of Ife, Obade Ogunwusi, and the Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Abimbola Owode, to put an immediate end to the recent misunderstanding between two. The hostels between the two traditional rulers reopened last week when the Alaafin forced Oni over the decision to confer a title on a businessman, Dotun Sanusi. The group national leaders, Prince Tajudi OSUN, called on the OSUN State Governor Ademola Adeleke and his Oyo State counterpart Seyi Makinde to initiate an immediate ceasefire between our refined royal fathers and their supporters. The Yoruba leaders said, "We are distraught that at a time when everyone should be on deck to support and ensure unquestionable success of one of the most illustrious Yoruba leaders and son, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, some of our foremost leaders at various levels are more or less falling this fire." The Yoruba leaders, however, lauded Tinubu for the choice of Chief Opeyemi Agbaje as the chairman of the Pension Commissions of Nigeria, with the one-race task to distracting reduce the incidence of the old age poverty, which is ruthlessly ravaging pensioners across the world, including Nigerians. Yoruba leaders push for Makinde and Adeleke intervention in Alaafin Oni conflict. The full details of these stories inside the Punch newspaper today. Another story here with me in the Punch newspaper today. PDP governor defends Savara meetings and accused ADC of politicizing insecurity. The People's Democratic Party Governors Forum has defended its meetings held in Savara State on Saturday and 14th African Democratic Congress for what it described as an attempt to politicize human lives instead of showing empathy to victims of insecurity. The Director General of PDP Governors Forum, Emmanuel Agbo, said in a statement on Monday that since some members left the party for the ADC, the PDP has grown stronger, more focused, and determined to stay on course. In response, the ADC National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, on Sunday called on President Bola Tinubu to declare a state of emergency in Zamfara State and accusing the PDP of lacking an empathy for human lives and being solely driven by the quest for power. PDP governor defends Zamfara meeting and accused ADC of politicizing insecurity. The full details of these stories inside the Punch newspaper today. Another story here with me in the Punch newspaper today. Tinubu Brazil visit strategies and set to boost Nigeria economy. The presidency has described President Bola Tinubu's upcoming state visit to Brazil as strategy and part of broader effort to diversify and strengthen Nigeria economy through global partnership. Mr. Sunday Dare, special advisor to President on Media and Public Communications, told newsmen in Brasilia that the visit could be a game changer and deepening ties with Latin America's largest economy and a major BRICS members. President Tinubu is expected to arrive in Brazil on Monday for a two-day state visit at the invitation of Brazil President. The new agency of Nigeria reports, I noted that Nigeria and Brazil share similarities in demographic, economic, and cultural importance. Analyzing Brazil's global leaderships in mechanizing agriculture, agribusinesses, and renewable energy, Dare said the visits would provide a valuable lesson for Nigerians. Tinubu's Brazil visit strategies and says to boost Nigeria economy. The full details of these stories inside the Punch newspaper today. Another story here with me in the Punch newspaper today. 2027, PDP takes stance on zoning of national offices. The National Executive Committee of the People's Democratic Party is meeting today in Abuja to consider the proposal for the distributions and micro-zonings of national offices ahead of the National Convention. The National Conventions held in Ibadan, your state capital, in November. Today's meeting at the party's National Secretariat is also expected to consider the reports of the convention meeting led Adamawa State Governor Amadu Faturu and the zoning panels headed by the Bayelsa State Governor Doyi Dire. The two committees were inaugurated during the last NEC meeting in Abuja by the acting national chairman Ambassador Umar Damogo. Ahead of the meeting, 4 organs of the past, the Governors Forums, the National Concourse, National Working Committees, and the Board of Trustees, held pre-meetings for the purpose of the ironing out and differences and achieving consensus on issues of gaining to the National Convention. PDP governors who had adjudged their meetings in Gasa, several states, at the weekend, they convened on these Bauchi state governors and lodged in Abuja to brainstorm on nursing issues that could further prioritize the party. 2027 PDP takes stance on zoning of national offices. The full details of these stories inside the punch for today. And before we come back to the second edition of this program, we would like to listen to what we have for you in our studio. We'll be right back for the second edition of this program.
Discover the uniqueness in the entertainment industry. African Broadcasting Network, ABN, is now the pace setter in the industry. Do you want to advertise your product and services? Count on us. We will do it much more than your expectations. African Broadcasting Network, ABN, will deliver quick and prompt services. Our quality and clarity stands us out when it comes to delivering quality broadcasting. Our staffs are hardworking and versatile in the specific field of office. Our environment is so conducive and we are open to all. We also give advice on how to run your business profitably. African Broadcasting Network is situated at
9894 OSUN Street, Suite 875, Houston, Texas 77036.
Contact phone 281-652-8396 and
832-490-8203.
Website www.abntvnetwork.com. ABN, celebrating Africans' rich culture.
And I hope you listen to what we have in our studio. Now to the second edition of this program, The Nation newspaper. Tinubu to open African Defense Chiefs Summit today. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will today declare open the Made in Africa Chiefs of Defense Summit at the Bola Tinubu International Conference Center in Abuja. The summit is expected to discuss the key homegrown defense solutions to security threats and confronting the continent. Security was tightened at the venue and its surroundings since yesterday in anticipation of the president's Amiras and all vehicular movements are to be rotated to alternative roads today. At least 90% of defense chiefs from across the 54 African countries have arrived in Abuja as of yesterday for the summit, which kicked off at around 9 a.m. today. The president is expected to remind the defense chiefs of these various security threats confronting the continent, including terrorism and violent extremism, elder-farmer clash, piracies and all SARS, among others, and highlights the significance of increased synergies and homegrown solutions in addressing these continent's security challenges for lasting peace and economic development. The African continent has been plagued by security threats from the north to the south and from the Central Africa to the south, which regional bodies are struggling to solve the challenges without success. The transnational natures of these threats has become a major concern and calling for a concerted effort to overcome them. Tinubu to open African Defense Chiefs Summit today. The full set of these stories inside the Nation newspaper for today. Another story here with me in the Nation newspaper for today. Civil society organization demands suspension prosecution of Kano officials implicated in corruptions. The civil society organization in Kano State have demanded the immediate suspensions and the prosecution of government officials implicated in recent multi-billion naira corruption scandals. Earlier, the ICPC concluded investigations into a separate 1.2 billion naira schemes involving the chairman of the Kano State Independent Electoral Commissions, Professor Sani Nawa, in his secretary, and Nasir Mustafa, and deputy directors Ado Gaba. The two allegedly transfer from civil society organization, Unity Bank accounts to a private company despite payments to electoral staff and having already been made through the banking system. The civil society organization demands suspension and prosecutions of Kano officials implicated in corruption. The full set of these stories inside the Nation newspaper for today. Another story here with me in the Nation newspaper for today, which is the lastly story here with me. Employers must secure workers' futures, not just pay salaries. Employers in Nigeria have been told that the ways to guarantee industrial harmony and sustain productivity is to secure the futures of these workers through the employers' compensation scheme rather than focusing only on the payments of salaries. The managing directors of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, OSUN, gave the charge in Abuja when they received the leaderships of the oil produce trade sectors of the Lagos Chambers of Commerce during the courtesy visit to his office. Falaye stressed that the welfare and long-term security of workers often outweighs demand for wage increase and waging employers to deliberately enlighten policies that slow glaciers concerns for their employees. The NCT managing directors further called for compliance with the Employers' Compensation Act to be made essential for awarding contracts. Employers must secure workers' futures, not just pay salary, says the NASTI. The full set of these stories inside the Nation newspaper for today. And that's what we have for in our newspaper review. If you'd like to follow us live and direct on our social media page, you can follow us, like, share, comment, and make sure you subscribe on our social media page. On our Facebook, and like, comment, subscribe, and share, and click on ABN TV hosting. Likewise, on our YouTube, you can follow us and click on ABN TV Nigeria as well. And we also have our Twitter. You can follow us, like, share, comment, and make sure you subscribe, and click on ABN TV hosting as well. And lastly, on our Instagram, you can follow us on ABN TV Nigeria. And for those of you that are using TikToks, you can also follow us live and direct on our social media page. You can follow us on TikTok and click on ABN TV Nigeria as well. My name is Kenya Folabi. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. And I wish you a blessed and prosperous days ahead. Bye for now.